So, a quick little update. I realized that when I was making these guns that I kind of overlooked something special about them, especially with Black Ops 4 guns. They don't use just one color texture, they use two, and it is C and S. C stands for color, S stands for shine. I've been using the C one all this time, but some guns have like C textures that are just completely black, such as the SWAT RFT, and they've come out like incorrect in terms of textures. So the Sitrep today is I'm going back and checking out my old guns to see what I might have implemented incorrectly, and these are just some of them that I've gotten a head start with. First things first, we have the ICR7. When this came out, this bit right here was like all black, and this part was all black, and it was really dark. And my little brother mentioned that it looked darker than. So I was like, I should look into that. And what I realized is that it also uses S textures, and the S textures have a little bit more oomph to them. So I went ahead and applied that to mainly this upper right here, and this part, lower part is separate. Some of them did not look good. For example, the ones for the like little bits and bobs, they made it look almost, how would I say, plastic? Like it was super shiny, like over the top shiny. So I kept it as my regular alloy for those. But for the rest of them that looked alright, I tweaked it, and I use like one of those things where I usually don't use. I used material map channel packer in order to help me out with this. And the secret to using that is you have to reduce the roughness to 0.3 in order to get to the right amount. And that's what I discovered here with this ICR is that when I put it on that set credentials and all kind of stuff, it comes out exactly as it would in game. So I am very happy with how this ICR turned out. The rest of the stuff, such as the rails, the stock and whatnot, the magazine, the grip, they are all how they normally would. I was mainly focused on the core of the weapon for this update, and I think I did a pretty good job. It really pops out, really does. So this is a satisfying update. We'll keep it as is. Moving on to the next one, we have the KN57. When this came out, same issue. It looked a little too dark in terms of this upper right here, and a little bit too metallic, I would say. So for this, we used an S texture for the lower. For up here, we also use, it's not the S texture because it was gray, so the C texture was correct, but I reduced the metallic on it so that I give it the lighter tan, and it matches a lot better to the Black Ops 4 iteration of the KN57, and I'm very happy with the results. I also changed up the stock connector, and I think that's it for this one. So it was just those main things, the lower, the upper, and the stock connector I fixed up so it looks way, way better. And that's it for that. I would say I also, after Space Race, I noticed that this was a little bit rough on the edges, a little too hard on the rigid body mass, so I reduced it to 0.2, and it works a lot better when it comes to mag flicking and whatnot. And do note, the mag latch right there also is up top right there, so it is ridiculously easy to, if I can go ahead and demonstrate without losing my mind, do an Iraqi reload, just like that. Super duper easy. And I also made sure I didn't do the normal nuances of having the bolt and bolt handle be the same game object, so that way you can Iraqi reload. Some of the other AKs I've implemented where I did that, you cannot do that because of the bolt handle implementation. So there's that. That looks good. Moving on to the Maddox. I've noticed the Maddox didn't get a lot of attention when it came to releasing it, or maybe I'm just overthinking things, but I also realized I kind of did it wrong. So mainly right here, the handguard, this is a handguard, not a big ass muzzle. Handguard up front here is not black. This is the S texture, and it is more of a tannish color that has been corrected. I also did some tweaks on this main body right here. This is also an S texture, but it's a mix of the S texture and with the C texture as a detail. So that way it's like blending in with the rest of the body. So this part right here is how it usually is. Top rail usually is. Sights are fixed, stocks are fixed, using S textures to get that little brightness bump that it should have, and not the black color C texture that I used earlier. So this is starting to match a little bit more to how it would be in Black Ops 4. Also very happy with it. I think now the big thing is with all these updates is that I don't know if I need to update the README to have hosting new images based on these changes, or just keep it as is. I get a little bit how would I say, distracted, where I kind of don't opt for taking pictures of these. I just go ahead and get the update done, get it out there, move on to the next thing, because time is limited in my case. But these are some visual changes, and I don't want anyone thinking like, oh, I've been scammed, I've been lied to, the README is wrong. It really is up in the air if I should change it or not, but I think people will not mind it at all. Once they have the gun in their hands, they hold it, and it's going to be a lot more closer to the source material. I think I can get away with not having to update the README. Besides, who reads READMEs? It's like R2MM and Thunderstorm Mod Manager don't have README support yet, so it's not like people are going to notice all the images up in the README. So whatever. Moving on to the next one, the SWAT RFT. I completely botched it when I first released it. It was all C textures, and this gun does not use C textures. It uses S textures. So this entire gun has been overhauled to use S textures. Some of them have a mix of S and C, like the top rails up here, to blend in with this rail right here in terms of color. Otherwise, it's gonna pop a lot more than how it used to. Even when I use this gun in like my last video where I was just messing around with Blackjack Sophia, in the back of my head I felt like something was wrong with this gun, that it was not matching what I remembered from Black Ops 4. And then looking into it today, I figured it out. The textures were wrong. So here's the corrected version. It looks way better in my opinion. It's gonna be out for everyone to fuck around with and just, have fun with. So happy with that. And the last thing I did, and I spent a lot of time with this thing because there's a lot of fixes I need to do with it. The Tiger Shark LSW, I messed around in Black Ops 4 for a little bit, and I discovered, I remembered it having an extended magazine, and unfortunately Curloper was not able to get it for me because you cannot get it in the normal sense. It's only a Blackout exclusive. So you can't use Greyhound to fetch it. You have to do all this sidewinding stuff and whatnot in order to get it. And I didn't really want to bug him. So I went ahead and made my own kind of chute feed belt box to go along with this. That bottom lip right there, it needs to have something go along with it, and that's why I did. So this is not really a belt box. It's still a magazine, but it is high capacity. It has a lot of ammo to it, about the same amount as it would in Blackout, 71 rounds. 71 because this is a closed bolt, and if you reload prematurely, it'll have one in the chamber, and that's 72, and that's how much it is in Blackout. So I did my math, okay? That's how it is. I think it fits really well with the Tiger Shark, seeing how it is the Zwei... Oop, hold on, let me focus. The Zweihander kind of chute feed bit that's been extended down into the Negev belt box hull, and then that bit right there is the H3VR M249 belt box kind of connector. So it's a hybrid mesh of all three just to make this happen, and it all works out really well to my surprise, especially with the coloring. If you look close enough, you'll notice that there is a little bit of stretching going on, but if you don't mind it, if you don't heat it, it's going to do great. So we got extended capacity for this LMG. I also, first of all, did you guys know there's an ammo counter? That's a bun right there to access it. Well, now you know. If you watch this video for this long, now you know. Um, stock extends only for this one. The skin variant does not have extendable stock. It's just something that I wanted to add to it. I originally wanted to make this twist, but I've had a bad history with twisting stuff in the past, such as the meat beat scanner and whatnot. I couldn't figure it out. I didn't want to risk it, so this only extends that. And I did some like visual examples and whatnot, and then this would go through there, and it did not look good, and it just looked like a mess. So I just kept it as an extendable stock. It is what it is. Also, the bolt in itself has been reduced in the rate of fire, so it should match the 505 that was in Black Ops 4. A little bit slower. Doesn't mean it's not going to do much less damage. It's still 5x6, and you got a lot of capacity to go along with it. So, all the things to really match the source material. That was my aim for this. Also, texture fixes for the bipod and the side mounts and whatnot. I've kind of left that out for so long, and I am terribly sorry about that. And mainly, I just want to end it on this note. I'm going to look back at all my mods, all the ones that are based off of guns and video games. My skins are another story in general, because skins are skins, and I know I've left them satisfied. But for here, it's all a learning experience. I still got so much to learn about making guns in H3VR, and every time I learn something, I want to go back to my old stuff and be like, what can I do to make this even better? Because that's the main goal. Is I just want to go ahead and make sure that my guns are left off at the best possible place that they can be. It's just more satisfying for me to do it like that. I got some other guns in the works that are going to get fixes. I got other attachments, other magazines to implement, and with the new stuff I've learned with Material Map Channel Packer, I think that stuff will be out sooner rather than later. Hopefully get all this done by the end of June so I can move on to my next project. But that is pretty much it for the Sitrep. If anyone did care, thanks for sticking around for the entire video. But in any case, I'm just going to move on to my next project. So I'll see you guys next time.